Barcelona midfielder and Spanish international Aitana Bonmatí has won the Ballon d'Or for the second year in a row. Congratulations, Bonmatí. Welcome into Attacking Third. This is A3 One Shot alongside Sandra Herrera. I'm Lisa Carlin. We are giving you the latest take in a consumable amount of time, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. We'll see when we get there. Today, Sandra, we are talking the Ballon d'Or winners. Aitana Bonmatí out of Spain and Barcelona. She has won for the women. The coach of the year, Emma Hayes from Chelsea and the United States women's national team. Women's Club of the Year goes to Barcelona, and the Sócrates Award goes to Spanish midfielder and Tigres midfielder Jenny Hermosa. But let's start with the Ballon d'Or. Aitana Bonmatí. Sandra, did you expect Bonmatí to get this for the second year in a row?
I gotta say, Lisa, sadly, predictably, yes, I did expect that. But it's only I use that framing because I'm not a French person, nor am I part of French media. I don't have a vote, in this or stakeholder in this type of event. But I really thought just maybe that Carolyn Graham Hansen would have stole some of these votes and perhaps walked away with this award, just considering its short, brief history and everything that she's done in the build up to getting nominated really as a finalist for this award. Their club teammates for Barcelona. It wasn't shocking for me to sort of see the final 1, 2, 3. But I've just been so impressed by Grant Hansen's play throughout the course of last year. I think if we even narrow that window down to just Champions League, for which I think a lot of voters do, sometimes they look at those big moments. I thought Graham Hansen had massive roles in making sure that Barcelona lifted that title again. And they were battle tested throughout that moment. And I think that's part of why Bonmatí ends up getting the edge, in this one for a second consecutive year.
Carolyn Graham Hansen, she finished second in the full rankings, just behind Aitana Bonmatí. So in the top 10 players, 5 of them from Barcelona. Bonmatí in first place, Carolyn Graham Hansen second, Salma Paralluelo in third, Mariona Caldente eighth, and then Alexia Putellas in 10th place. And it is absolutely no surprise considering the performance that Barcelona had last year, winning the quadruple for the first time in club history. And they did it on the backs of players like Bonmatí, Graham Hansen, Paralluelo, Caldente, Putellas, and Alexia Putellas. She won it for Barcelona and for Spain the previous 4 years ago and 3 years ago, and now Bonmatí wins it last year and this year, becoming just the second player ever to win it in back-to-back years. I'm happy that Bonmatí won it, frankly. She is a player that does so much work centrally for Barcelona. 41 appearances, all comps this past year, 19 goals, 17 assists for Bonmatí. Her ability in the midfield to create for herself, for her teammates, her technical ability, her footwork, her passing. She does so much for Barcelona, and I like that Bonmatí won it. However, I hear you saying that Graham Hansen deserves a shout and probably should have won it at some point. Women's Coach of the Year, we have to talk about it. Emma Hayes out of England and Chelsea. And then, of course, with the U.S. women's national team, taking them all the way to gold at the Paris Olympics this past summer. Hayes was up against some tough competition, though. Serena Wegman for England manager, but ultimately Hayes wins it, Sandra.
Winner. Again, look, I think we're starting to see maybe some of the bump in recency bias, right? What are the things that players and coaches have achieved with their teams? A lot of times winning will signal maybe some of the front runners in these types of awards. And I think when we're looking at Emma Hayes in particular and how she has a split resume for this particular award, time with Chelsea and now a gold medal with the United States, in terms of the timing and how they're looking at things. I think folks take a look at her efforts across the board. And I think maybe if there was someone to give a little bit of a challenge, that you mentioned Wigman, I think that's a good shout. But I think this type of award was always going to go to Emma Hayes.
Shout out to some of the Americans that were also listed in the rankings. Sophia Smith finished 4th in the Ballon d'Or rankings. Lindsay Horan, 5th. Mallory Swanson, 6th. Trinity Rodman, 9th. And then, of course, in 17th, goalkeeper Alyssa Nair for the U.S. Women's National Team and Chicago Red Stars. Shout out to Barcelona winning the Women's Club of the Year and the Sócrates Award going to Jenny Hermoso. The Sócrates Award is about a lot of things off the pitch, technically, when we think about it like that. So it's presented to the best humanitarian work by a footballer worldwide. And Jenny Hermoso, who plays in Mexico now for Tigres, has campaigned against sexual assault in football after being kissed by the former Spanish president, Football Federation president, Luis Rubiales, following the World Cup win in August of 2023. Congratulations to all the winners, to all the nominees, to all the players, and especially Bonmati and Emma Hayes. Now, there is a bigger topic and discussion around the Ballon d'Or that I want to get into with you, Sandra, because in the announcement press release that I received from US Soccer, which I so appreciate because then I know everything that's up, there is a sentence that really stuck out to me. It says, France Football, the top soccer magazine in France and one of the most reputable in Europe, has been awarding the Ballon d'Or to men's players since 1956 and to women's players since 2018. That is 62 years where women's footballers were simply not recognized. 2018 is insane to think about that. Did that appall you as much as it did me, Sandra?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, the introduction of this award in 2018 also came with a layer of cringe as well. I mean, it's deeply disappointing on a number of levels, but you can see how when you turn something that needs to be a box that's checked off kind of feels a little bit cringe, and it continues to kind of trickle down into future award ceremonies. I really do hate that the clip that constantly goes around about marking the first ever award with Hedgerberg was in a very awkward, unnecessary, kind of disgusting moment between the host and the winner. And it circulated again after this ceremony for this most recent award. So there's a layer of,
what is the clip, Sandra? Can you describe it to us?
Yeah, so there's unfortunately a moment where Hedgerberg is being honored with what is supposed to be this very prestigious award because of its history and the one that you mentioned and how it's been a longstanding award, particularly for the men's side. And just now in 2018, a few years ago, they integrated it for the women's game. And as she's accepting her award and trying to say some very good things, the host, I guess, tries to very incorrectly read the temperature of the room and tries to have fun with it and mentions something about like if she should twerk. And it's just a deeply, deeply awkward and unserious moment that, quite frankly, I think matches the level of unseriousness that Ballon d'Or has given the women's game in general. We don't need to get on a show like this, do a one shot and harp about it. They're writing this script themselves. It comes off unserious because they are taking it unseriously. And so now here we are talking about maybe the level of unseriousness. And that's deeply frustrating in the sense where it takes away from trying to celebrate respectfully and correctly and notably these players who put together these incredible moments and campaigns year to year. And so I do wonder if there's eventually going to be a moment where we see some of that level out, where we see the awards being taken a little bit more seriously or matching the level of the women's soccer landscape. Because Lisa, we're notably talking about the Americans and where they finished and how that's a moment of pride that there are so many within the top 10, and even a goalkeeper getting into 17th place. And there's a little bit of perhaps that Olympic bump that's coming into play that's separating Alyssa Nair from some other candidates. And we want to like talk about that and celebrate that. But there's also this other layer of like, how did Naomi Girma not become even a finalist on this award, not even listed or uttered across the board of these finalists, where I think there are deeply invested people on the European side of things who were also counter arguing the same thing, where they look at the U.S. national team and they say, yes, what a great trio of attackers that you have. And you know who else is incredible? Naomi Girma. So this is like kind of a general consensus. It's almost laughable that when you get to this moment where you're rolling out nominees and then even narrowing them down to finalists, you don't have what is considered one of the best players in the world, and specifically for the United States women's national team. So it's with this very, very late arrival of honorees that they're doing for Ballon d'Or with the women's game that I think it's going to take some time for this award to kind of maybe level itself out in terms of the seriousness that other, awards in the past have been taken.
In 2022, second place winner, English international, Beth Mead, she was nominated second in the Ballon d'Or. She said, quote, "The Ballon d'Or is such a prestigious award, but then it was a tick box to have women there and that they weren't doing it right." That was in 2022. And the fact that women only started to be recognized in 2018 is absolutely crazy to me. It's crazy to me that it took that long. So then we get to 2023, and every year for the past several years, even this year, the Ballon d'Or ceremony is held during a women's international break. So there are big influential games that are taking place during this ceremony. So either players have to decide, are they going to miss an international match with their club team and to attend the ceremony, or are they going to miss the ceremony and attend the game? This year, a lot of friendlies occurring, so it allowed a little bit of flexibility. But when you think back to 2023, it was during Olympic qualifying matches for a lot of teams in England. 2023 nominee, English international Georgia Stanway expressed her frustration that this Ballon d'Or and being nominated is a potentially once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And England had an Olympic qualifying match in another country less than 24 hours from the ceremony, so she couldn't attend. Only one, the last year in 2023, 7 of the 30 women were able to attend this ceremony because they had games the next day and they missed trainings and they had to come and accept the award. So even though they're offering this award to women, the Ballon d'Or, they're not making it accessible for them to get there and to show up and to accept their award or even be at the event, because it is such a high honor. And let's not even get over the fact that there's only one award. There's only one award for them. When you think about the men's side, there's the Copa Trophy, which goes to a U21 player. There's the Yashin Trophy that goes to a goalkeeper. The Mueller Trophy that goes to a striker, but only on the men's side. The women have nothing equivalent to them. So there's only one award. It's only been around since 2018, and they don't even make the award ceremony available to the women's to go to because it happens during an international women's break. It feels like, Sandra, there's just a lot that is going against the female athletes that could win this, are nominated, and should be able to attend and celebrate this event.
Look, I think it's great that you even highlighted the quote there from Beth Mead, because again, something else not too long ago where she was asked about it and spoke on it. But this is the energy that it's giving when the players that you are trying to honor are trying to give this sort of feedback, even if it's via just an answer in a media availability. They should listen to that. We talk about this yes, it is supposed to be a prestigious award, but because of the level of unseriousness that it's kind of being treated or handled or guided, that it feels as if it's not, that it feels as if it's just a bit of like, here you go, we heard you. And that's part of the problem too. There's been a long time of women's soccer spaces where there should just be the acceptance of acknowledgement. We're acknowledging you. You should celebrate that and be happy. But here we are, a few years removed from the first Ballon d'Or, and there hasn't really been a level of improvement in terms of trying to make sure that this is treated like the prestigious award that they want people to treat it as. And that starts for me from the top, not from the, outside looking in. It starts from the top. It starts from within. And hopefully in future years, hopefully as soon as next year, some of this stuff will be taken into consideration. It's baffling to me that the players you're trying to honor or coaches you're trying to honor can't even make it to this event.
It's crazy. If you're with us live on YouTube, thanks for joining us. Like this video, subscribe. You'll get alerts when we go live. There's a conversation in the chat right now about this, and someone says, hey, men's football is just way bigger and that'll never change. Deal with it. That is the problem. That is the problem with it. We need to be able to give these female athletes recognition that they deserve, the achievements that they deserve, and the space to be honored and celebrated that they deserve, that they have not been given before. And it starts with conversations like this. So don't think that way. Things can change and they don't have to be dealt with. It's not a box to be ticked to celebrate Aitana Bonmati this year. It is a huge celebration that she wins the award for the second year in a row. She is the Ballon d'Or of 2024, and it is so well deserved. I want to honor the U21s next year, the goalkeepers next year, a striker next year, continue to honor a female coach. This is the first year that that's been given. Congratulations to Emma Hayes. The celebrations for these players are so deserved, and we are going to celebrate them, but we're also asking for more from these award ceremonies to make it, at least acceptable for the players to be able to attend it so they can't miss it. So congratulations to Aitana Bonmati, the Ballon d'Or of this year, Emma Hayes, the also winner of Coach of the Year, Women's Club of the Year, Barcelona, and Jenny Hermoso for the Sócrates Humanitarian Award. Thanks everyone so much for joining us. This was A31 Chat. For Mark and Sandra and Lisa, this was Attacking Third.